in. And I will be with you tonight. This is San Angelo Bandit football. Tonight, the Bandits will take on the Laredo Rattlesnakes in a game that means a lot to the Bandits here early on in the season. A win will put them in the 4th playoff spot here in the Lone Star Football League. Also, it will knock Laredo from that top spot in the LSFL. Laredo coming off a big win last week as they knocked off the then number 1 team in the LSFL, the Abilene Bombers, by a score of 48-39. Now, for 3 weeks in a row, we have had three different number 1s. Start off with Amarillo, who came into the San Angelo Foster Communications Coliseum and was knocked off by 21 points here back about 3 weeks ago. Then right after that, Abilene became number 1, but they were knocked off by Laredo last week. The Bandits are trying to avoid losing their 3rd game in a row. They have won 2 straight after beating the then number 1 team, Amarillo Venom. They lost a heartbreaker in Abilene, and penalties and injuries have just been the thorn in the side of the Bandits all season long. And we do have injuries to report tonight. Starting off in the quarterback position, Craig McClellan, who had an MRI on his knee earlier in the week, has put him out indefinitely for about 4 weeks as he gets to rehab and try to get everything back to good. Filling into his place that was announced about 10 minutes ago will be Greg Dillon. Dillon coming in from Grambling. Now Dillon stands There we go. Got everything fixed here. Greg Dillon stands 6 foot 215, coming out of Grambling. Now Dillon comes with high recommendations from Grambling head coach Doug Williams. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it should. If you know anything about football at all, Doug Williams is the only African-American quarterback to this day to win a Super Bowl championship. That coming back in the early 90s when he was a member of the Washington Redskins team. Doug Williams now taking over the head coaching duties over in Grambling. He contacted head coach of the Bandits, Dixie Wooten, and told him, hey, this kid has something special. I really think you need to look at him. I think he can do a lot in the Lone Star Football League and do a lot for your San Angelo Bandits. So for the 3rd week now in a row, we will have a 3rd quarterback starting for the Bandits tonight. Last week in New Mexico, Michael Nichols was the new guy in from Grambling as well, as the Bandits just really could not get it together, fumbling the ball 6 times, losing 5 of those, and I don't care what league you're in, if it's the LSFL or the NFL or even high school, you turn the ball over 5 times, you put yourself in a very, very deep hole. And the Bandits were within 10 with 1 quarter left to play in the ball game last week, but never could quite pull it off. Now another injury on the line that was sustained last week in that loss was big DeMadre Dean. DeMadre 6'5", 340. Going to be a huge loss on that line for the Bandits. But we do have good news. There's a bright spot on that line. Tavares Jeffries, who missed last week, will return. So you'll have Jeffries on the right side. Your center will be Mr. Sean Lewis. And on the other side, you'll have Josh Davis starting at the left tackle position. Underneath center, as we mentioned, will be Greg Dillon. And your 3 wide receivers will be Matt Washington, who is number 3 in the league in receptions, receiving yards a game, but number 1 in the league in touchdowns. Garrett Tidwell, who is number 1 in the league in receiving yards a game, receiving yards per game, and is number 4 in the league in touchdowns. And Richie Martin, who got his first start of the season last week as he was injured for the first part, one of those many injuries that the Bandits have had. So you'll have Washington, Martin, and Tidwell to catch the ball from Greg Dillon. Now Tristan Carter will make another start at running back. Carter is the 2nd leading rusher in the LSFL, and he is just 15 yards behind Seth Smith from the New Mexico Stars. Other injuries that we can talk about are on the defense side. Alex Otu, who was out last week, will be back this week. He had a high ankle sprain suffered in that Abilene loss. He sat out last week. He's back good tonight. Also, coming in to make his first start at defensive back is Angelo Brown. Angelo, coming to the Bandits from South Carolina, arrived late Tuesday evening, He was picked up at the airport in Midland by head coach Dixie Wooten. And him and Greg Dillon both late arrivals to the team, but made an immediate impact as soon as they stepped on the field here at Foster Communications Coliseum. Said that Angelo Brown made his impact with the team by his play and leadership on the field. And Coach Wooten was talking to me before the game, said as soon as Greg Dillon, the new quarterback, walked into the locker room, he won the guys over. He said within 30 minutes he had them believing in him, had them telling him what they need to do to come together as a team to make San Angelo successful. So we will see exactly how that plays out tonight and how well he adjusted with just 3 days to prepare for tonight's game. Hopefully Greg Dillon will be able to get that going. Now, Ahmad Howard back in the lineup again. He was 1 week removed from the suspension as he was kicked out of the last home game here for getting in a little scruffle on the field with the Amarillo Venom. Some other people to watch, Benny Shepard. Benny Shepard was probably the leading defensive player last week, defensive player of the week, as he forced the fumble, recovered a fumble, and even had a sack for a safety. And he started off the game last week with a sack, dropped the Stars for a 10-plus yard loss. So Benny Shepard making an immediate impact as he was here, just been here 3 weeks. And 2 out of the 3 games did nothing but call his name on the defensive side of the ball. Now, another guy on defense getting his first start of the season will be Godwin Uba. Uba, 6'2", 290, out of Angelo State. So not a stranger to the Angelo limelight, as he was an All-American at Angelo State and hoping to make his presence felt on the defensive side of the ball tonight. Now, while we have a moment, we'd like to thank those who made this broadcast possible. Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. PSI Wireline. For quality wireline service in the San Angelo area you can depend on, call PSI Wireline. They are fast, dependable, and provide top-notch quality work. For more information, call 325-486-9900 or visit their website, psiwireline.com. Well, if you are watching on the B2 network, your camera or your computer screen is not playing tricks on you. The lights are now out here inside Foster Communications Coliseum, the site of tonight's matchup between the Laredo Rattlesnakes, #1 team in the LSFL, and your San Angelo Bandits. I'll get it right sooner or later. But the Bandits and Rattlesnakes set for action as they are doing the player lineups and introductions right now. Now, we mentioned earlier the Bandits really do need a big win tonight as they are in the 5th place in the LSFL, and the top 4 in this league make the playoffs, and those playoffs will start on July 15th. But they are only 1 game back from that 4th place spot with 6 games to go. So this could be a very big game for the Bandits. They could get a win here and ride that momentum into an off week, make the adjustments, get people healthy. They have next weekend off, and then they come back, or they don't come back. Well, they'll come back to action on the 18th, but travel all the way up to Amarillo to face the Venom, who they defeated 3 weeks ago for their first win of the season. Now, the Venom have been, were without starting quarterback Nate Davis, who made the trip, got moved up to San Antonio Talons, but went there for a week, decided it was not the place for him, and is back now in Amarillo, which, by the way, the Laredo Rattlesnakes did beat that full, we call it the full Amarillo squad, just a couple of weeks ago. So Laredo is your top spot in the LSFL, followed by Abilene and Amarillo. Then you have the New Mexico Stars and your San Angelo Bandits to round out the conference. Touching on some things we talked about earlier, injuries have been the story all season long for the San Angelo Bandits. Craig McClellan declared out indefinitely just yesterday evening. Craig with that injured knee, still swollen up pretty bad. He's still hobbling around here. So he is on IR, expected to miss about 4 weeks. And there's a quarterback competition going on with Michael Nichols and Greg Dillon. And just about 10 minutes before the pregame festivities started, Greg Dillon was named starting quarterback tonight by head coach Dixie Wooten. Dillon, once again, 6'2", 215, out of Grambling. Let's talk a little bit about the Rattlesnakes. The Rattlesnakes quarterback, I'm pretty sure you've heard this name, Brian Randall, 6'2", 218, out of Virginia Tech. Now, if those of you remember, another big quarterback that came out of there, Michael Vick. Well, he sat behind Michael Vick for 1 year. Michael Vick set all those records his junior year, then went on to the NFL. And in 3 years, Brian Randall at Virginia Tech crushed every record that Michael Vick ever put up at Virginia Tech. Was drafted out of college by the Atlanta Falcons. Got into some off-field troubles. Was let go by the Falcons and has now found his home in Laredo. Talking to Coach Wooten on how he was going to contain him. He said he could beat you with his feet and with his arm. They're going to send a lot of different blitzing packages towards Randall. He said when you get in any quarterback's face, he says it messes with their mind a little bit. They get a little distraught, a little distracted, and in a hurry, and that's when mistakes happen. So they're looking to put a lot of pressure on Randall tonight. Get everything going on defense. And last week, defense was not really a bad spot it was actually one of the only bright spots for the San Angelo Bandits last week. Benny Shepard got a couple of sacks, got a safety. Benny Shepard, Rick Ball stepping up for him, along as Ahmad Howard. And we're going to pause real quick as we are going to have our national anthem.
Tonight's national anthem is being performed by James Perez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets regulate the bombs bursting in air came through the night, that our flag was still there.
One more round of applause for James Perez. Everyone, please remain standing as Kevin Kirkland from Paul Land Baptist Ministries blesses us with tonight's prayer.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be in this place. We thank you most of all for Jesus who came to save us when we didn't deserve it. Pray, God, tonight for safety for both teams, even as they travel home. For all those that have come out tonight, God, we pray for their safety as well. We ask you, God, that you would be glorified in this game that we play, that we learn something about life tonight in this place. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you. Thank you so much for Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen.
All right, so we have the national anthem and the prayer, and we are set for San Angelo Bandits football tonight as they host the number one team in the Lone Star Football League, the Laredo Rattlesnakes. Now let's take a look at your starting lineup for your San Angelo Bandits. On the offensive side, center will be James Lewis, 6'2", 300 out of West Texas A&M. On his left side is going to be Mr. Joshua Davis, 6'2", 330 out of Mayville State. On his right side is going to be Tavares Jeffrey, 6'5", 340 out of Oklahoma. Now, in the backfield is going to be Tristan Carter. Carter stands at 5'9", 220 out of Angelo State University. Underneath center is making his first start with the Bandits going to be Greg Dillon, 6 foot 215 out of Grambling. One of his targets he will throw to will be Matt Washington, 6'1", 211, South Carolina State. Garrett Tidwell, the number one receiver in the LSFL, 5'8", 180 out of Angelo State University. And Richie Martin making his second start for the Bandits tonight, 6'1", 205 out of Central Connecticut. On the defensive side, Tommy White, 6'1", 215. Another one out of Grambling. Rodney Anthony, defensive back, 6'1", 210 out of Tuskegee. Rick Ball, 6 foot 200, Mississippi State. Angelo Brown makes his debut as defensive back, 205, Western Carolina University. Shane Hudnall's your jackback, 6'2", 220 out of TCU. Michael Nichols is not going to be in the game tonight. They have a switch up in the numbers here on the roster, but Michael Nichols will not be in the game this evening. Benny Shepard, defensive tackle, 6'2", 245, Glenn Junior College. And Godwin Uba, 6'2", 290, Angelo State University. So the Laredo Rattlesnakes now coming up, tee the ball up, as the Bandits will receive to start off the ball game. If you're watching on the B2 network, the Bandits will get the ball and be moving from left to right across your computer screen. Back to eat is Tommy White and Tristan Carter. Garrett Tidwell is a high end-over-end kick, fielded by Tidwell about 7 yards to the inside of his end zone, out to the 10-yard line, goes around the left side up to the 15, and is finally brought down on the play, knocked into the wall by Dominique Howard for the Rattlesnakes. So 1st and 10 from just across the 15-yard line. And we'll see Greg Dillon for the first time tonight. Dillon wearing that number 2 jersey that McClellan has worn all season long, but McClellan out off the roster with a knee injury, out at least 4 weeks as they come out in a slot right set. Tidwell is going to be your motion man as he is 10 yards back behind the ball, and we already have whistles as the chain gang is not set. So our first stop in action is due to official timeout. Now they have the chain set and ready to go. So here we go. We have the slot formation, slot to the right. Tidwell and Martin will be on your right side. Tidwell will be your motion man. He's 10 yards behind the ball. He is now in motion full speed when he hits the line. First snap, Dillon back to pass, 3-step drop over the middle. Caught, completed to Tidwell out across the 25. 1st and 10. Move the chains, and a great pass for his first pass of the evening as a Bandit. Nice 3-step block or drop and great blocking by that offensive line. Tavares Jeffries is a big man, hard to get around. Stands at 6'5", 340. And when he's in the game, it's a great position or player to have for you. And now, 2 plays in the game, and the San Angelo Bandits have their first flag of the ball game. Going to be illegal offensive set called against the Bandits, so that'll back them up 5 yards. So penalty number 1 on the second play of the game tonight. 1st and 15 now from the 21-yard line. Going in a trips right formation. Martin will be your motion man. It's going to be a pitch to Carter around left side. Carter has great blocking, has a hole up across the 25, and he is still on his feet. He was stood up, but not brought down. He gets about 2 yards, after the initial hit. Brings it out to the 23-yard line. Now they're going to move it all the way up to give him another yard up to the 22. So 2nd and 7 for the Bandits. Come out now in a trips left formation. Martin will be your motion man again. Martin, Tidwell, and Washington, your receivers. Carter in the backfield. It's going to be a quick screen, and it's through the hands of of Washington, incomplete. Pass a little high for Matt Washington. And Coach Wooten upset with I don't know if he was upset at the quarterback or upset that Matt Washington let the ball go right between his hands. Between his hands, incomplete. 3rd down and 7 now for the Bandits. As Dillon gets the play call from head coach Wooten. Trouts out to the huddle. 10 seconds now on the play clock. 7 seconds as he getting up to the line to come out the trips left formation. Martin is your motion man, and he's under pressure. He's going to scramble, fires it across the middle for Garrett Tidwell. Just out of the reach of Tidwell, incomplete right there on the near sideline. So that'll bring up 4th down and 7, and they're going to bring on Shane Hudnall to attempt the extra point or the field goal. Looks like it'll be a 38-yard attempt, as it'll be from the 22-yard line. The ball will be spotted at the 22 of the Rattlesnakes. Snap is good. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is off the mark to the left. Kick is no good. So that'll come out now to the 5-yard line. Remember, in the Lone Star Football League, a missed field goal is the equivalent of a punt. So 1st and 10 now from the 5-yard line for the Laredo Rattlesnakes. And we'll see Brian Randall for the first time out of Va Tech. One of his favorite targets that he's going to be throwing to is going to be DeMarcus Jenkins, 6'4", 230 out of Texas Southern. As they come out in the slot formation, it'll be slot to the left. Jenkins is that motion man. It's a 5-step drop. He fires over the middle on the way to Jerome McGee. Completed at midfield and gets out to the 20-yard line of the Bandits. 1st down. So a gain of 25 on 1st and 10 to move the change. Fresh set of downs for the Rattlesnakes from the Bandits' 20. Brian Randall now breaks the huddle, comes out in a slot left again. This time, the motion man is going to be Damian Clark. Clark comes all the way around to the near side of the field. There's a quick drop, pump fake by Randall, running around in the backfield as he's under pressure. He fires to the end zone, has a man in the back of the end zone wide open. It is caught. Touchdown, and the guy making the catch is number 1, Damian Clark. So 2-play drive for the Rattlesnakes. They strike first here in the first quarter with 11:07 in the first quarter. 20-yard touchdown pass from Randall to Clark. And the Rattlesnakes are up 6-0. Rattlesnakes now on to attempt the extra point. Snap is on the way. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is good. So at the 10:49 mark here in the first quarter, our score, Laredo Rattlesnakes 7, San Angelo Bandits nothing. So the Bandits now on the field, setting up to return the kick. Looks like Tidwell and White will make the trot back to the end zone. Get ready to accept the kick from Laredo. Blake Erickson teeing it up on his own goal line. Bandits not off to the start they were hoping for, but they did have some bright spots in that first offensive drive. They did not have any turnovers, but they did have one penalty. Erickson now has the ball teed up right in the middle of the field on the goal line. Kick is on the way. It's into the ground and goes through and is fielded by Tidwell at about the 8-yard line. Tidwell to the left side. He's got room. He's at the 25-20. Brought down inside the 20 at the 13-yard line. Saving a touchdown from Tidwell was Dominic Howard. Dominic Howard, 6'3", 210 out of Minot State. So great field position to start off their second drive of the night for the Bandits. They will start at the 18-yard line of the Rattlesnakes, 1st and 10. Dillon breaks the huddle. The Bandits come out in a trips left formation with Tidwell, Washington, and Martin. Martin will be your motion man all the way back to the 20 of the Bandits as he starts his motion full sprint. As he hits the line, it's a quick pass to Washington off the left side at the 15, cuts it back upfield at the 10. Finally brought down inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. And they give him enough for the first down. So 1st and goal, this will be the first trip now inside the red zone for the Bandits. As they come out in a trips right formation, and we have another flag on the play. Have a legal offense on the Bandits, so they'll move them back 5 again. So 2 penalties and 2 drives. The Bandits are the most penalized team in the LSFL. So 1st and goal now from the 14-yard line of the Rattlesnakes. It's a toss pitch now out of the trips formation to Carter. Carter around the right side. He is hit hard at about the 12-yard line. Breaks through a would-be tackler and gets bumped into the boards and pushed, quote, unquote, out of bounds at the 10-yard line. So 2nd down and goal. Now for the down marker says 3rd and goal. I believe it's 2nd and goal as they're in a slot formation, and Dillon under pressure scrambles to his left. He's going to keep it. He's going to do a nifty move at the 10 and roll into the end zone. Touchdown, Bandits. Greg Dillon makes a nifty move at the 10-yard line to have a defender miss, but there is a Bandit on the field shaken up. I can't tell if it's Josh Davis and it's James Lewis, the center. I didn't see. It looks like he's acting like he may have gotten rolled up on that ankle or knee. And, boy, that's been a big, big issue for the Bandits. Knees and ankles all season long going out left and right. As he is being helped off the field by the Bandits trainer. And he is unable to put any pressure on that left ankle. So he is off the field. Now the clock is ready to wind as Hudnall now on to attempt the extra point. Hold is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So with 8:51 left to play in the first quarter, we have a tie ball game, 7-7. Off a Staybridge Sweets touchdown run by Greg Dillon. So Dillon, all he can do to help out the Bandits here. 3 days in San Angelo, and it looks like he has picked up the offensive playbook pretty well. Now we have a moment. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors. If you're looking for a great deal on a new or used vehicle or service with a smile, head on down to Mitchell Buick GMC and see Guy Terrazas and Fabian Salazar. They can get you in the vehicle you deserve at the price you want. See Guy or Fabian at Mitchell Buick GMC. Se habla español. And by Dinah's Resale Boutique. For a large selection of women's attire, visit Dinah's Resale Boutique. Spring attire now welcome at Dinah's. Stop by 2421 College Hills or call Dinah at 325-223-2421 for more information. All right. Hudnall now teeing up the ball on his goal line, right at the middle of the goal line. Back deep now for the Rattlesnakes as they quick kick directly into the ground and straight up corralled at midfield by a big lineman of the Rattlesnakes. Looks like Rodnick Gladney. 6'5", 350 out of Jackson State. Bounces on the ball, so 1st and 10 for the Rattlesnakes right at their own 23-yard line. As Randall, coming off a 2-play drive last time out, breaks the huddle with his Rattlesnakes, trips to the left. Motion man is going to be Damian Clark as he goes back and around to the far side of the field. 3-step drop for Randall as he fires to the end zone. It looks like miscommunication there between quarterback and receiver as Clark was cut off his route at about the 10. And this ball sails to the back of the end zone and falls incomplete. So 2nd and 10 now for the Rattlesnakes. 8 minutes and 9 seconds and counting. And remember, Lone Star Football League, the clock doesn't stop, only on touchdowns and the media timeouts, which is inside the 9-minute mark and 4-minute in first quarter, 9 and 1 in the second quarter. As the Rattlesnakes come out, break the huddle in a trips to the right formation, and Godwin Uba jumps early. This will be an encroachment call on Godwin. Move the Rattlesnakes up 5. So when they set the marker down, it'll be 2nd and 5 now from the 23 of the Bandits. As they break the huddle slot left formation. Jerome McGee, the motion man, quick drop for Randall as he fires McGee, caught at the 15, and he loses the ball at about the 5-yard line. Looks like the Bandits come up with it, and they do. Bandit football. McGee caught the ball in open field towards the near wall at about the 15, gets across the 10 and is met by, it looks like Rick Ball. Rick Ball gets in there and punches that ball out and pounced on by the Bandits. So costly turnover for the Rattlesnakes, we hope, as the Bandits will now set up 1st and 10 from their own 8-yard line. We'll go ahead and mark it on the 7. Dillon now gets the play call from head coach Dixie Wooten. 18 seconds on the play clock when they break the huddle. They're coming out in a trips left formation as Carter and Dillon are talking the play over in the backfield. Dillon looks like he is audibling out to the lineman as Martin is the motion man, and he fumbles the ball. The ball is put down on the ground as the center quarterback exchange, but it looks like Garrett Tidwell is the one who pounces on the ball. But it is fumbled forward for a gain of 2, almost 3. We'll call it 3. So second down and 7 from the 10-yard line for the Bandits. Bandits now break the huddle. Trips to the right is the formation. It looks like Tidwell is the motion man. 5-step drop for Dillon as he fires complete over the middle to Washington. The ball caught at the 15. He is brought down immediately by the Rattlesnakes. So third down and short 3 for the Bandits from their own 15-yard line. Bandits coming to the line in a slot left formation. Tidwell and Martin to the left side of the ball. And the Bandits are going to have to call a timeout. There's confusion on the field with the play call. Matt Washington calling the timeout as the Bandits are going to talk it over. So at 5:43 left to go in the first quarter, have a tie ball game, 7-7. San Angelo and Laredo here in Lone Star football action, live from the Foster Communications Coliseum in San Angelo, Texas. Game being played on Bud Light Field. The Angelo Bail Bonds timeout. It's the first timeout of the night for the Bandits. So while we have a moment, we'd like to go ahead and thank one of our sponsors, PK Kelly, your community, your insurance. And Neighbors for all your oil field needs. Call Neighbors Completion and Production Services. We're back to action out of the timeout. Bandits break the huddle in a slot formation, slot left, but Washington is the motion man. It's going to be a quarterback keeper around left side. Comes back to the right at the 20. He's got some wheels on him as he breaks it up to the 25. Greg Dillon can move. That's something that we have not seen with quarterbacks past here. Greg Dillon, very shifty and very fast as he gets the Best Tex first down out to midfield. The ball will be spotted at the 25-yard line on the left hash. They have 2 hash mark systems here in the LSFL. The college hash, which are the further one out, and then the pro hash, which is down the middle. As the Bandits come out in a slot formation, Dillon under pressure again. This time he'll go forward for about a gain of 2. So 2nd and 8. But back to the hash marks here. They have hash marks on the outside of the middle of the field that are closer to the numbers down both sidelines. Those are called the college hash marks. And they are a little bit wider than the goalpost. And you have your traditional NFL hash marks down the middle that are even with the goalposts. We're going a trips right now on 2nd down. Martin is the motion man. 3-step drop. Dillon under pressure again. He's firing. He got Martin wide open as a 10. Martin makes the catch at the 10-yard line. He goes for the end zone. Somersaults in. But they're going to say his knee is down. Great vision by Dillon to look back across the field as he was scrambling to the left. Finds Martin wide open at about the 10-yard line. Martin makes the catch and goes towards the end zone, diving towards the end zone, but they're going to say he comes up short of the goal line. So 1st and goal, the second trip now for the Bandits in the red zone. And I would not be surprised if they just take the snap and go directly right up the middle with it, with the blocking that Dillon has been getting and the moves he has. I'd say it'd either be a quarterback keeper or a Tristan Carter pitch around left side as they come out to that trips left. Garrett Tidwell is your motion man, and it's going to be a reverse to Tidwell, and Tidwell gets the handoff at the 2. Touchdown, Bandits. And now Tidwell gets pushed up against the wall, and there's some pushing and shoving going on as what happened after the touchdown was the defender for the Rattlesnakes bends Tidwell's back over the wall there, and that was DeMarcus Jenkins, and Tidwell just gets up, doesn't do anything, just kind of puts the ball in his face and drops it Of course, the big lineman, Tavares Jeffries, comes over, and that's one guy you don't want to get tangled up with. And he lets DeMarcus know that you're not going to be messing with my receiver, as the extra point on the way from Hudnall is off the mark, missing to the right. So at the 4:41 mark left to go in the first quarter, our new score, your San Angelo Bandits 13, the Laredo Rattlesnakes 7. The Stay Hill Bridge Suites touchdown. 1 yard run by Garrett Tidwell. So this game is brought to you by Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. And by San Angelo Security. For the best defense on your home, call San Angelo Security. So the Bandits are able to grab their first lead in 3 weeks, as the last time they led was here at home back in early April, April 13th, against the Amarillo Venom, which they went on to win that game 71-50. Knock off the then number 1 team in the LSFL. That was also Coach Wooten's first week in San Angelo and his first win as the Bandit head coach. Looking to get back to his winning ways tonight against Laredo. Hudnall now has the ball teed up in the middle of the field. Ready for kickoff. It is a line drive kick down the middle of the field, bouncing all the way to the end zone, fielded at the goal line by Laredo up across the 15, and he fumbles the ball, but pounces on it real quick, and it looks like a flag's coming in, probably going to be a face mask, as Raymond Little was a man carrying the ball for the Rattlesnakes, and he is still down on the ground. And the Spencer Plumbing penalty flag is going to be a personal foul face mask against the Bandits, so it's going to be a 15-yard penalty, as there is a host of trainers around and coaches. Coach Wooten making a walk all the way across field now to go check on the injured Rattlesnake. Well, we have a moment. Go ahead and get to some of our sponsors. Dinah's Resale Boutique. For a large selection of women's attire, visit Dinah's Resale Boutique. Spring attire now welcome at Dinah's. Stop by 2421 College Hills or call Dinah at 325-223-2421 for more details. Raymond Little up to on his feet now and off to the sidelines as we're back to action. The ball moved all the way now to the other side of midfield. The 22 of the Bandits is where Randall and the Rattlesnakes will take over. 1st and 10. Randall on a 3-step drop, and he dumps it over to a big lineman. Big lineman to Phillip Harris, 6'2", 310 out of Midwestern State. Catches the dump off for a gain of 2. Out to the 20-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 8. Brought down on the play by Godwin Uba. So 2 former Lone Star players matching up there on the 20-yard line, Midwestern State and Angelo State. 2nd down and 8. As the Rattlesnakes come out in a slot formation. Clark is the motion man for the Rattlesnakes. Randall 5-step drop, looking over the middle, has a man open at the 10-yard line. That is caught by the Rattlesnake receiver, and he gets up to about the 2, maybe 3-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. Getting credit for the tackle will be Angelo Brown. And we have a Spencer Plumbing penalty flag on the field, and it looks like in the area of holding, and they're pointing in the way of the Rattlesnakes. Darnell Williams on the catch. And it will be a hold against the Rattlesnakes. culprit on that hold is going to be Brandon Evans, offensive tackle, 6'3", 330 out of Houston. So that's going to move him all the way back to the 20 of the Rattlesnakes. So a 10-yard penalty brings up second down and about 18. As the Rattlesnakes break the huddle, slot left. Williams is the motion man again. This is a three-step drop, fired and complete over the middle to Williams, who gets that penalty yardage back as they will be right back at the 20 of the Bandits for third down and 8 now. So the motion man Williams coming over the middle of the field on a post. Randall fires and hits him right in the middle of the field, wide open, but he is quickly wrapped up and brought down by Rick Ball. Third down and 8 now for the Rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes coming out in a slot formation. Clark is your motion man. Goes from far to near side of the field, and he pushes off on Angelo Brown, but the pass falls incomplete as he was on a quick post route to the end zone. Angelo Brown was with him step for step, and right before the ball gets there, Clark pushes Brown right in the back, but the ball was uncatchable by both players. So that'll bring up 4th and 8 now from the 20-yard line. And I don't see any special teams out there on the field. Looks like they're going to go ahead and go for it, is Laredo, as Randall comes back to the huddle after getting the call from Coach Davis. So 4th and 8. Big defensive stop needed here by the Bandits. They're in a slot right. Williams is the man in motion again as Randall is flushed out of the pocket, has a low throw intended for Clark. The ball falls incomplete, but there is a flag on the play. It looks like it's going to be holding against the Rattlesnakes, and Coach Wooten is waving his hands as to say to decline it. So it will be a hold against the Rattlesnakes on the Spencer's Plumbing penalty flag, which will be declined. So the San Angelo Security defensive stand is good for the Bandits. A big defensive win early on here in the ballgame with 1:32 left to play in the first quarter. The Bandits up 13-7. So the Bandits will take over on their own 20. As the Bandits now break the huddle in a slot right formation. Washington is your motion man at the top of the field, and he comes all the way to the near side of the field. As the handoff to Tristan Carter. Carter is off to the left side, and he tries to do everything he can to get back to the line of scrimmage as he is wrapped up in the backfield, breaking through and getting in on the tackle is James Brown Jr. Carter, a little upset with himself when he got up. He knew that if he could get past that one tackler, he had a lot of running room in front of him, but he was tripped up by the feet by Brown. So 2nd and 10, there'll be no gain on the play. Slot right formation once again as Tidwell is the motion man. 5-step drop for Dillon. He fires for Tidwell and just a little too high and off the hands of Tidwell as there's an official down on the field. I did not see what happened, but it looks like there was a collision. He is down and holding his head as the San Angelo Bandit trainer comes out and going to check on him. See, Terrell Pierce is our head referee, and he's wearing the white hat. He is up. Jesse Mendoza is our back judge. He is up walking around. Line judge is Don Oren, and he's good. Might have been the umpire, Steve Markham. And I believe that's who it was. He kind of laughed. He's up to his feet, laughing and smiling, probably a little more embarrassed than anything. And it was the umpire, Mr. Steve Markham. Sometimes officials just get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's what it looked like happened to Steve. But he's up and ready to go. 3rd and 10 now from their own 20. The Bandits come out in the slot right formation. This time Martin will be your motion man. 3-step drop, and Dillon is going to go right up the middle. He has the first down across the 20 and a little bit more. So the Best Tech's first down on the quarterback keeper right up the middle. It was kind of set up as what you would see a draw set up in the NFL or college football, as the pocket just formed around him, and he steps up through the hole and takes off for a gain of 12 and a first down. Be the Best Tech's first down, and that will come to the end of the first quarter. The end of one, the San Angelo Bandits lead the Laredo Rattlesnakes 13-7. This is the first time the Bandits have led at the end of the first quarter so far this season. So it's a positive turnaround going for the Bandits, it seems like, so far here early on in this ball game. I'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. And also Spencer Plumbing. For all your plumbing needs, call Spencer Plumbing. They have you taken care of. And Town Square Media, KGKL Kicking Country, Magic 98 and 96.5 The Rock. News Talks 960. It's Town Square Media. We have some first quarter stats to pass along to you. Greg Dillon is 3 for 5, 42 yards. On the receiving end of those catches, Richie Martin has 1 for 23. Garrett Tidwell is 1 for 10. And Matt Washington 1 for 9. Tidwell has the 1 rushing touchdown, and Dillon the other. As they start the second quarter now with a slot to the right. 3-step drop for Dillon. He's scrambling to the right. He fires over the middle for Richie Martin and Garrett Tidwell. The pass is caught by Martin in the end zone as Martin and Tidwell collide, and Tidwell goes over and hugs Martin. And there's a flag on the play, and Wooten out to almost midfield, telling the Bandits to decline. It looks like it might be pass interference. And it's going to be defensive holding against the Rattlesnakes, so the penalty will be waved off. Touchdown, Bandits. $15-yard touchdown pass from Greg Dillon to Richie Martin as him and Tidwell collide in the end zone, fighting for the ball, but Martin comes down with it. And the Bandits looking to make their lead 13 as the snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good. So at the 14:37 mark, the Bandits lead by 13, 20-7. On the Spring Hill Suites touchdown pass from Greg Dillon to Richie Martin. That gets this San Angelo Bandit crowd excited. It looks like we probably have a little bit more fans than we did the last home game. The last home game, we're just a little over 2,000 fans, and it looks like there might be just a little bit more than that tonight. Let's get back to some of these first half stats. Tidwell is the all-purpose yards leader for the Lone Star Football League. He has 2 kickoff returns for 31 yards. Also had 1 reception for 10 yards and 1 rush for 1 yard, the 1-yard touchdown rush early on in the first quarter to get the first score of the game for the Bandits. Greg Dillon has 4 rushes for 49 yards and 1 touchdown. He had his longest rush at 23. So the Bandits getting the job done on the ground and through the air tonight with that 15-yard touchdown completion to Reggie Martin to extend the lead to 13. Now Hudnall is going to tee the ball up at his own goal line. It's a line drive kick will be fielded at the 5 by Clark of the Rattlesnakes, and he is wrapped up at the 15 but gets away. It breaks to the left, but finally going to be brought down, wrapped up, and brought down at about the 16-yard line. In on the tackle for the Bandits is Angelo Brown. So Angelo Brown getting his name called tonight, making an immediate difference on special teams and defense tonight. Very athletic, very fast. We've seen both guys who come in here have been very athletic and very shifty with their feet, especially Greg Dillon. Really what the Bandits have been missing offensively is that mobile quarterback who was able to get around in the pocket and escape the pressure. As Randall now breaks the huddle, they're going to go slot to the right, and it's going to be a quick pass to number 80, Williams, and it is read perfectly that time on the play. It looks like the jersey's bunched up, so that's going to be Rick Ball, number 6, who meets Williams right at the line of scrimmage. Actually, it's going to be a loss of 1, almost 2. We'll call it a loss of 2, brings it back to the 15-yard line. So 2nd down and 12 now, as Randall does a quick pass out to Darnell Williams behind the line of scrimmage, read perfectly by the Bandits. This time the Rattlesnakes will break the huddle with that trips left formation. Clark will be your motion man around to the near side of the field as it's a quick dump-off pass across the middle to the Rattlesnake receiver, which is Jerome McGee. And that'll be enough for a 1st down for the Rattlesnakes as he makes the catch around the 25 and gets up to the 21-yard line, just across the sticks. 1st and 10 now for the Rattlesnakes for the 20 from the 21. Bandits looking to hold again as the Rattlesnakes come out in the slot left formation this time. Clark is the motion man. It looks like there's a fumbled snap on the play, but it's going to be negated by the Spencer Plumbing penalty flag as it is offsides against the defense. Did not give a number, so they'll mark up 5, and it'll be 1st and 5 now from the 16-yard line of the Bandits. As Randall now getting the call from head coach Brian Davis of the Rattlesnakes. Slot left formation. Clark will be your motion man once again as he comes from near side to far side of the field. It's a 3-step drop for Randall. He's looking over the middle. He wants to find Clark, but he hits Jerome McGee at the 10-yard line, and McGee catches it, turns it upfield, and knocked into the wall at about the 7-yard line. So that is enough for a 1st down. So the Rattlesnakes in the red zone for the first time this evening. 1st and goal from the 7. It's where the Bandits need to stiffen up. They did a great job of stiffening up last week in the red zone against the Stars. As the Rattlesnakes come out in the trips right formation, McGee will be your motion man again. So he goes all the way back to the 20-yard line, hits the line at full speed, and it's a quick pass out to Clark at about the 9-yard line. He's going to be wrapped up for a loss. In on the tackle was Angelo Brown once again. Brown all over that quick screen that they're trying to run. They're going to give him forward progress to the 9. So it's going to be a loss of 1, or 2, rather. Excuse me. 2nd down and goal now from the 9. Rattlesnakes coming out in that slot left formation. Clark is your motion man. Here's a snap, 3-snap drop, and he fires to the end zone for Clark. Clark cuts in front of Angelo Brown. Touchdown, Rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes are within 7. Now with 11:03 left to play until halftime, your score 20-13 in favor of the Bandits. Rattlesnakes now on to attempt the extra point. Blake Erickson, the kicker for the Rattlesnakes. And we have an illegal offense, it looks like. So throw the flag. Spencer's Plumbing penalty flag. And it is a false start. So they'll back them up 5. Now the ball will be placed at the 7-yard line. So the extra point will be kicked from the 14. So a 24-yard extra point now for the Rattlesnakes of Blake Erickson. Here's the snap, the hold. Kick is up. And it's right through. So the Rattlesnakes are able to cut the lead to 6 with 10:34 left to play. And the San Angelo Bandits 20. Laredo Rattlesnakes 14. Bandits would like to thank Tim White Allstate for making this broadcast possible. For life, home, and auto insurance with Tim White, you're always in good hands. And Tinker's Boutique for maternity, women, and infant clothing, nursery, furniture, bedding, decor, and more. Come see Tinker's Boutique down at their new location on Knickerbocker here in San Angelo. And Twin Mountain Dentistry, creating smiles that last a lifetime. So back deep now for the Bandits, awaiting the Erickson kickoff, is Tristan Carter and Tommy White. Now Carter and Tidwell have been splitting time all season back there deep for the Bandits, as White has been on pretty much every kickoff return for the Bandits so far this season. Looks like Erickson's going to go ahead and set the ball up on that right college hash mark, which is the near hash mark. It's a high end over kick, going to be fielded at the goal line by White. White across the 10 and up to the 15, and he has room at the 20, and he's finally brought down at midfield. White does have a kickoff return for a touchdown earlier on in the season. That happened against the Abilene Bombers, and the Bandits have another guy shaken up on the field. See if we can get a number for you on that. Looks to be Rodney Anthony, and he's coming up limping, so another ankle or a knee. And he's trying to walk it off. He is doing a little bit of jogging at around the 10 and 15-yard line and coming up limping. And speaking of ankles, when Big James Lewis went down with an ankle injury early on in the first quarter, he has not been back, so they moved Josh Davis over. And Benny Shepard now coming in to take Davis's spot on the left side of the line, left tackle. As it's a trips left, it's going to be a toss to Carter. Carter with nowhere to go in the backfield. Tries to turn back the field to right, nowhere to go there, and he goes up the middle for a nice gain of 4, actually. Well, that's all said and done. So 2nd down and 6 now from the 21-yard line of the Rattlesnakes. 9:45 left to play until halftime. As Dylan now gets the play call from head coach Dixie Wooten. Bandits break the huddle. Trips left formation. Washington is your motion man. It's a quick 3-step drop, and he does a little turnaround, and he's going to go ahead and run for it off the left side to the 15. I think he is wrapped up at the 15-yard line exactly, and it will be enough for the Best-Tex first down. As Dylan acted as if he was going to throw the quick screen off to the left, did a little spin move and was looking deep downfield. Nothing there, was under pressure, stepped up in the pocket and took off around the left side, down the wall where he's pushed out of bounds and into the wall at about the 15-yard line. So a fresh set of downs for the Bandits. 1st and 10 from the 15 as they break the huddle and they trips right formation. Martin will be the motion man, and it's going to be a handoff to Carter, and Carter has nowhere to go, tries to bounce it back to the right. He finally spins up at the 15 and gets another positive gain of about 3 yards. Make it 4 down to the 11-yard line. And Carter doing a really good job of making something out of nothing as he had nowhere to go. He ran into the back of Benny Shepard, then tried to reverse his field right. Finally found a seam and went up the middle of the field for a gain of 4. 2nd and 6, trips right formation. Quick pass over to Washington at the 10. Washington hauls it in and is going to be wrapped up at the 5. Falls over down to about the 4-yard line. So that is enough for a Best-Tex first down. And they'll be in the red zone once again. 1st and goal from the 4 for the Bandits. And it seems as if this offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. Come out with the trips left. Washington is going to be your motion man. Quick snap is going to be a design quarterback keeper around the right side. And Dylan is reaching for the end zone at the 2. He's in. Touchdown, Bandits. Greg Dillon with the quarterback keeper around right side is met at about the 2 by 3 different Rattlesnakes, and he drags them into the end zone, reaches the ball across as he's going down for his second rushing touchdown of the night. The Bandits trying to extend the lead to 13 now. Hudnall on for the kick. The snap is down. The kick is up, and it is no good. Missing off to the right. So a 12-point lead. Now off the Spring Hill Sweets touchdown run by Greg Dillon. 7:17 left to play until halftime. They scored the Bandits 26. The Rattlesnakes 14. Now this broadcast brought to you by PSI Wireline. For quality wireline service in the San Angelo area you can depend on, call PSI Wireline. They are fast, dependable, and provide top-notch quality work. For more information, call 325-486-9900 or visit them online at psiwireline.com. And by Guy Terrasses and Fabian Salazar. If you're looking for a great deal on a new or used vehicle and service with a smile, head on down to Mitchell Buick GMC and see Guy Terrasses and Fabian Salazar. They can get you in the vehicle you deserve at the price you want. See Guy or Fabian at Mitchell Buick GMC. Se habla español. Now the Bandits are setting up special teams here on their goal line. Looks like it's going to be right almost in the middle of the field. And actually be on that left pro hash. As you're watching on the B2 network, they'll be moving from right to left across your computer screen. Hudnall now gets a set. And it's going to be a line drive kick down the middle of the field again. Picked up by Anthony Clark at about the 10, and he breaks across field, across the 15, down the right side, and finally wrapped up and brought down by Ahmad Howard. Also in on the tackle was Rodney Anthony. So good to see Anthony back out there after that going down with a possible ankle injury. Looks like he was able to get that walked out as the Rattlesnakes will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 19-yard line. Bandits lead by 12 with 6 minutes and 55 seconds left to play until halftime. The Rattlesnakes break the huddle, come out in that slot right formation. McGee is going to be the motion man. Goes all around to the left side as Randall steps back, 5-step drop, fires for McGee. Has him open, caught at the 1. Touchdown, Rattlesnakes. McGee just a step behind Tommy White, and Tommy White dives up for the ball just out of his reach. And just like that, the Rattlesnakes are within 6, looking to make it a 5-point ball game, the extra point pending. Very, very fast drive, scoring drive for the Rattlesnakes. It's their second one of the night. It's been 2 plays or less. That one taking all of 11 seconds. As the snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good. So now the Rattlesnakes have cut their deficit to 5, 26-21. 6:25 remaining left to go until halftime. And we do remind you here in the Lone Star Football League, it is a fast-paced game full of one-play drives and high scores. If you remember back in our last victory against Amarillo, 71-50, and that one really didn't open up for the Bandits until late in the 4th quarter. So there's still a lot of football left to play here on Bud Light Field inside Foster Communications Coliseum. Coming to you live from San Angelo, Texas tonight. And boy, does it feel good to be home after being on the bus last week for over 20 hours total. I know everybody was ready to get back and get in their own beds after making the trip out to Rio Rancho, New Mexico last weekend. So back deep now for the Bandits awaiting the kickoff is number 20, Tristan Carter, and number 7, Garrett Tidwell. Just as I said, Tommy White has been on every kickoff return so far this year. giving the broadcasters jinx, and he is not in on this one. Erickson now ready. Kick it away. It's high, end over end kick, and it hits the PA system in the middle of the field. So we'll see what they do here with the ball now. They're not going to make him re-kick it. I believe they're going to bring it on out to midfield. Nope, they're going to spot it at the 20. So the Bandits with great field position. 1st and 10 from the 20. As Dillon and the offensive unit out on the field again. Dillon getting things done with his legs tonight. Also has been completing a couple passes through the air. He does have 2 touchdown passes tonight. As they come out in that slot left formation. And Dillon under pressure looking downfield. He has Washington over the middle of the field, caught at the 12-yard line. Nobody around him. He's going to waltz on into the end zone. Touchdown, Bandits. So just as I said, one-play drives is the trademark of this league. And what do we have? Back-to-back one-play drives. Greg Dillon, Matt Washington, and just like that, the Bandits up by 11. Trying to push it to 12. Hudnall on now to attempt the extra point. Snap is good. The kick is up. And it is off to the right again. No good. So that is the 3rd miss by Hudnall. We hope this doesn't come back to haunt the Bandits later on in the game. But every point does count here in the LSFL. So the one-play scoring drive, a 30-yard touchdown pass from Greg Dillon to Matt Washington. Dillon was under heavy pressure, scrambled out to the left, and that's probably what allowed Washington to get free over the middle of the field. They actually had 2 receivers wide open. He had Washington and Garrett Tidwell. So Washington able to haul it in at about the 12-yard line and waltz on into the end zone untouched. Nobody around them. The Bandits lead by 11, 32-21 with 5:45 left to play.
I'm telling him they don't hear us. They only hear you.
So Hudnall now teeing up the ball on his own goal line on that left hash mark, that left pro hash. And it's another line drive kick, and it is off a Rattlesnake defender at about the 20-yard line, but it's picked up by Jerome McGee, who reverses his field at the 20, and he is brought down at the 22-yard line. In on the tackle was Tommy White, as Jerome McGee picks it up at about the 15 on the right side of the field, reverses to the left side. Had a little line of blockers, but is brought down at the 23 by Tommy White. So 1st and 10 now for the Rattlesnakes. 5:36 left to play until halftime. And the clock is now wound and ready for play. 5:27 and counting. Bandits lead by 11, 32-21. The Rattlesnakes now come out in that slot right formation. McGee is the motion man. Quick pass over to Williams, caught at the 24, and he gets up to the 20-yard line before he's brought down. Looks like Rick Ball. It is Rick Ball on the tackle. Gain of 6, so 2nd down and 4 now for the Rattlesnakes. You can hear the crowd getting into it, hoping for another San Angelo Security defensive stand by their Bandits. They have the slot right formation. This time, Anthony Clark will be the motion man. He goes all the way to the far side of the field, and they're going to pitch it out to the big man. The big man for the Rattlesnakes, DeFelipe Harris. And it looks like there's a Spencer's Plumbing holding flag on the field. And not good news for the Rattlesnakes, as they have a big lineman down on the field trying to get the number. Can't exactly see, but the way he's holding his knee, looks like he's in a lot of pain. Looks like that could be Keon Sweeney. Keon, 6'4", 338 out of Alcorn State. And he has two trainers working on him now, the Laredo trainer and the Angelo trainer. Head coach Brian Davis over there to check up on him. There is a Spencer Plumbing penalty flag on the play, too, and it looks like it's going to be holding against the Rattlesnakes, so that'll negate the first down. Move them all the way back to the Bandit side of the football field on the 20, so it'll be second down and 14 when we do resume play. But more importantly now is Keon Sweeney, who is to his feet, and he tried to put pressure on her. He's being carried off right now. Carried off by one of his teammates. Isaac Williams now trotting out, big lineman to go help him, and he cannot put any pressure down on that leg. You never like to see that no matter who they play for, whether it's on the Angelo side or the Laredo side. So we're back to action now after the holding penalty. Second down and 14 from the 20-yard line of the Bandits. 4:30 left to play and counting as Randall just now gets to play into the huddle for the Rattlesnakes. 10 seconds left on the play clock when they break the huddle. Break the huddle, come out in a trips right formation. Clark is the motion man as Randall with a three-step drop, fires over the middle for McGee, and it is complete, and he is tackled at the 20, pushed into the wall. McGee gets his hands underneath the football, and I think Coach Wooten thought that the ball might have hit the turf. Nonetheless, they're going to call it a completed pass. Gain of 10 yards, so 3rd and 4 now from the 20 of the Rattlesnakes. Slot to the right. Williams will be the motion man now. Darnell Williams, big target, 6'5", 231. As he sits down in the middle of the field, first down for the Rattlesnakes as he catches it at the 14 and moves up to about the 10-yard line. Williams, the motion man, hits the line at full sprint. Finds a pocket in that zone defense that the Bandits were playing and just sits there and awaits the pass from Randall. Nice, easy pitch and catch for the Rattlesnakes to get him back inside the red zone. First and goal from the 9 for Randall and the Rattlesnakes. Just inside 3 minutes now until halftime. Break the huddle. Slot formation for the Rattlesnakes. This time the motion man is going to be Williams once again.
We're going to take a Fox County timeout.
There's an Angelo Bell-Bonds timeout on the field. I want to say I don't know if they're calling the media timeout or not. I know it's the second quarter, so the media timeout can't come until the 1 minute mark. All the referees are writing on their cards, so it must be a timeout charged to someone. Nonetheless, we have a break in the action. 2:47 left to play until halftime. Your Angelo Bandits up 32-21. The Laredo Rattlesnakes are driving, though. First and goal at the 9. While we have a moment, take one of our sponsors, Vehicle Accessories. Vehicle Accessories is where we are West Texas choices for vehicle accessories. Out of the timeout now, back to action. First and goal from the 9. Laredo breaks the huddle, trips to the left. Anthony Clark is going to be the motion man. Three-step drop, fires to the end zone. Looking for Jerome McGee, caught at about the 4-yard line. Finally tackled at the 1, short of the goal line. There's a flag in the end zone. The officials now discussing the Spencer Plumbing penalty flag, and the Bandits are backing up. Now the officials huddling up once again at around the 2 to discuss where to place the ball and who the penalty is on, and let's listen to the call. So an illegal defense is the call on the Bandits. Half of the distance to the goal penalty. Automatic first down. So first and goal now from the 4-yard line. Randall just now getting the play from head coach Brian Davis. So he breaks the huddle. Come out in the slot right formation. This time Williams is the motion man. Is a quick 3-step drop looking to the end zone for Anthony Clark. Caught at the back of the end zone. Touchdown Rattlesnakes. Clark was able to get behind Angelo Brown. Brown never turned around and looked for the ball. He was trying to push Anthony Clark up against the backboards. Never had time to get his head around before the ball was there. It's a touchdown Rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes trying to cut the lead for the Bandits to 4. So we're just now inside of 2 minutes. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So the lead is 4 for the Bandits. 1:55 left to play until halftime. Your new score, San Angelo Bandits 32. Laredo Rattlesnakes 28. We'd like to thank everyone who's tuning in on KWFR.com. Part of the Foster Communication Network stations. Also, KixieFM.com and KKSA-AM.com. And, of course, all of you who are watching at home on the B2 network, thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. This broadcast brought to you by Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. Now back deep for the Bandits is going to be number 7, Garrett Tidwell, and number 1, Tommy White. Blake Erickson teeing it up for the Rattlesnakes on his own end zone, his own goal line. It's a high end-over-end kick. Looks like it's going to be fielded by Tidwell at the wall as he out across the 5. He has a seam at the 10, but that closes quickly as he is brought down on the play by the Rattlesnakes' Dominic Howard. They're giving forward progress to the 11. So first and 10 from the 11-yard line for the Bandits. 1:47 left to play. The clock will stop again at the 1-minute warning. Bandits leading by 4, 32-28. Here late in the second half. Come out in the slot formation, slot right. Tidwell is going to be your motion man. He's going to come, he's going to take the handoff from Dillon, goes around to about the 15-yard line before he is brought down. And we have a flag on the play. And Coach Wooten not happy with the head official, Terrell Pierce. Wooten with his hands on his hips as he listens to the explanation from Pierce. Let's see what the call is. Spencer Plumbing penalty flag. Let's hear it. My guess is a legal offense. Be illegal motion on the offense. Someone was moving forward before the snap. Didn't hear who it was. So we'll replay the down. 1st and 15 now from the 5-yard line. 6-yard line, rather, excuse me. 1 minute, 10 seconds left until halftime. The Bandits might just let this one go ahead and wind down to the 1 minute warning. That's what they're going to do. So at the 1 minute warning, your score 32 for San Angelo Bandits, 28 for the Laredo Rattlesnakes. 1 minute until halftime. It's a quick recap. Greg Dillon, who got here late Tuesday night, had 3 days to prepare for this game, has been lights out, mainly with his feet, bringing that elusiveness and shiftiness that the Bandits have not seen all season at the quarterback position. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Craig McClellan. McClellan, was the number 2 passer in the Lone Star Football League. Number 2 overall in passing yardage. Number 2 overall in passing yards per game. McClellan has definitely been missed, but Greg Dillon so far has done a superb job of stepping up and getting things done on the ground. He has 2 rushing touchdowns this evening and 2 passing. So we're back to action here in San Angelo. Foster Communications Coliseum, the side of tonight's game, as the Bandits break the huddle in the slot left formation. Richie Martin's going to be your motion man. Quick 3-step drop, looking over the middle of the field, flush out of the pocket to the left, and he's going to be wrapped up at about the 2-yard line and brought down. Brought down for a loss of 4. See where they mark it. They're going to mark it at the 2 or the 1, and they are going to mark it at the 1-yard line. So loss of 5 on the play. So 2nd and 20. They got to get all the way out to the 21-yard line. 26 seconds and counting. And it looks like the Bandits are just going to let this clock run down, as there's about a 5-second difference between game clock and play clock, as the play clock is now down to 6, 5. And they're going to go ahead and call that Angelo Bell-Bonds timeout with 6 seconds left to go until halftime. So with a break in the action, we'll go ahead and thank one of our sponsors, H&H Construction. Can you dig it? At H&H Construction, we can. And Hawkins Battery. Come visit us at your headquarters for Easy Go and Bad Boy Buggies down at Hawkins Battery on 1102 South Oaks. And Goodyear Proving Grounds. The Goodyear Proving Grounds, where we're more driven. That's Goodyear. And Glazers, your Crown Royal distributor. Also, Tito's Vodka, handcrafted to be savored. Please drink responsible. As we have the back to action, and before the ball is snapped, looks like there might be a encroachment on the defense. And it is going to be encroachment against the defense. Big man, big nose tackle jumping early. Roderick Gladney, 6'5", 350 out of Jackson State. So that moves the ball all the way up to the 6-yard line with 6 seconds left to play. So possibly the final play of the first half. The Bandits do have one more timeout in their hip pocket just in case. Come out in that slot formation, slot to the right. Tidwell, the motion man. 5-step drop as Dillon's looking downfield, and he fires over the middle of the field for Tidwell. It's going to fall incomplete. Missed his mark off to the right. Tidwell having to dive for it. Just out of the reach of the outstretched Tidwell. So we'll have one more play until halftime. 1 tick of the clock left. As the Bandits go ahead and call that last timeout. Well, they didn't call a timeout. They're all just huddled up around head coach Dixie Wooten as they now break the huddle. That wasn't around Wooten. Coming out that slot right again. Tidwell's going to be the motion man. 5-step drop. You hear the clock going off in the background. Dillon fires over the middle, has it complete to Reggie Martin. Martin across midfield and finally slung down at about the 23-yard line. So it is the Best Tex first down, but that's going to do it for the first half. So at halftime here in San Angelo, your San Angelo Bandits lead the Laredo Rattlesnakes 32-28. Coming up, I will have some stats for the first half. So stick around. We'll be right back here to some more San Angelo football right after this on Kixie FM. And we welcome you back here to Foster Communications Coliseum as the site for tonight's matchup. The San Angelo Bandits lead the Laredo Rattlesnakes here at halftime, 32-28. Now here's a look at some halftime stats for you. Quarterback of the Bandits, Greg Dillon, 7 for 10, 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now on the receiving end, Richie Martin, 3 receptions, 51 yards and 1 touchdown. Matt Washington, 3 receptions, 46 yards and 1 touchdown. And Garrett Tidwell has 1 reception for 10 yards, but he also has 1 rushing touchdown of 1 yard. On the rushing side, Tristan Carter, 4 rushes, 30 yards, averaging 7.5 yards a carry. And Greg Dillon, the quarterback, 7 attempts, 54 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging almost 8 yards a carry. Now for the Rattlesnakes, rushing, the Phil Harris, 1 rush for 8 yards. Passing, Brian Randall, 17 of 20, 175 yards and 4 touchdown passes. Receiving, Jerome McGee, 7 receptions, 87 yards and 1 touchdown. Damian Clark, 3 receptions for 11 yards, but 2 of those have been touchdowns. And Leroy Tran, 1 touchdown or 1 reception for 30 yards, and that 1 reception was a 30-yard touchdown. There's not been any turnovers on the game. Well, there's been 1 turnover. That was the fumble in the first quarter for the Rattlesnakes, which the Bandits pounced on. Fumbles, well, that was the 1 fumble. The penalty yards, Laredo 4 for 52, and the Bandits 6 for 29. So that as total as yardage on the penalties, the Laredo certainly losing the end of the stick of that one. Time of possession, Laredo 18 minutes and 14 seconds, and the Bandits 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Now the Bandits, here's a very great thing to report. 3rd down conversions, the Bandits are 3 for 3 on 3rd down, so 100% on 3rd down so far tonight are the Bandits. And that's a look at your halftime stats. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have the second half action of San Angelo Bandit football right here on the B2 Network. And welcome back here to Foster Communications Coliseum, where your San Angelo Bandits lead the Laredo Rattlesnakes 32-28 here at halftime. Now, once again, the big story is the new quarterback, Greg Dillon, who has 7 rushes for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He also is 7 of 10 for 107 yards through the air and 2 passing touchdowns. Now, they've been distributed between Matt Washington and Richie Martin. And Garrett Tidwell also has a rushing touchdown of his own for 1 yard, and that actually was the first score of the game this evening. So the Bandits look to be improving, and we'll see what kind of second half adjustments were made in the first half. And, of course, another big story was the special teams play of Shane Hudnall, who missed 3 extra points, and he is out early. He's the first Bandit on the field here during halftime, hitting the extra point work, trying to get that down. One thing I know for sure with the kickers, it's all a mental game. It's a mental task to get out there, and once you kind of get off your rhythm there in the kicking game, it's really hard to get it back. So he's out there putting some through the uprights, and that's a good sign to see. So the Bandits have their first lead of the season at halftime. They had their first lead of the season at the end of the first quarter, also early on in tonight's game. Now, this broadcast has been brought to you by PSI Wireline. For quality wireline service in the San Angelo area you can depend on, call PSI Wireline. They are fast, dependable, and provide top-notch quality work. For more information, call 325-486-9900 or visit them online at psiwireline.com. And by Dinah's Resale Boutique. For a large selection of women's attire, visit Dinah's Resale Boutique. Spring attire now welcomed at Dinah's. Stop by 2421 College Hills or call Dinah at 325-223-2421 for more details. And if you're looking for a great deal on a new or used vehicle and service with a smile, head on down to Mitchell Buick GMC and see Guy Terrazas and Fabian Salazar. They can get you in the vehicle you deserve at the price you want. See Guy and Fabian at Mitchell Buick GMC. Se habla Espanol. And by Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. Now, starting off the second half, the Rattlesnakes will get the ball as they kick away to the Bandits to start things off. So the Bandits defense will have to come out and put up a stand to keep the Laredo Rattlesnakes from taking back over the lead. Remember, Laredo scored the first points of the game on a 15-yard pitch and catch from Randall to Anthony Clark. It looks like now the second half is ready to start as the Bandits are huddled up on the sideline, talking things over and how they want to handle this kick. Every kick has been a line drive kick, but back deep for the Rattlesnakes is Jerome McGee and Anthony Clark. Now Clark coming to Laredo from the Amarillo Venom. So he was just here 3 weeks ago as a member of the Venom. As the ball is blown ready for play, and it is a ball or kick right off the turf, and it is tried to be fielded by the big lineman for the Rattlesnakes, James Brown Jr., and is off his fingertips at the 15 and rolls back to the 12-yard line. So that's where the Rattlesnakes will take over. 1st and 10 from the 12. 14:55 as we just kicked off the second half. And I am got the halftime adjustments just handed to me by offensive line coach Art Silver. More hustle in all positions, he says, was talked about in the locker room. Better ball control on offense. And we'll talk about some more adjustments they should be making here as the Rattlesnakes come out in a slot formation, slot right. A quick fade pass to Clark down the right sideline. Caught it about the 25, and he makes some tacklers miss out, dragging people all the way down to the 15. He breaks a host of tacklers all the way down to the 5-yard line before the Bandits finally get him down. Rick Ball, Shane Hudnall, and Ahmad Howard making the stop. But he carried the entire Bandits team for about 10 yards before he was finally brought down. So the Rattlesnakes, after one player inside the red zone. And that was the one last point that Coach Silver had just handed me. Better penetration from the defensive line. So those are the adjustments expected to happen as they break the huddle now and the trips right. And as a quick pass over to Clark, who's caught at the 6, and he goes into the end zone, touchdown Rattlesnakes. So 2-play drive. 1 minute and 23 seconds ran off the clock in those 2 plays. The Rattlesnakes now looking to make their lead 3 with the extra point pending. Blake Erickson on now to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and it is no good. Missing wide to the right. So those extra points that were missed in the first half have come up costly, as they should have a 1-point lead. Now trailed by 4, 34-32. Here early on in the second quarter, but good news. Hudnall will get a chance to redeem himself as the San Angelo Bandits are back awaiting now the kickoff from the Rattlesnakes. Erickson. We'll see who goes back deep this time. Looks like it's going to be Tommy White and Garrett Tidwell, as Tidwell gathers up the special teams players and getting a little animated as he's talking to them in the huddle there on the sideline. And it will be him and Tommy White going back. And there's been some great return yardage for the Bandits so far on special teams, as Erickson will move the ball all the way to the right hash, and it's a high end-over-end kick going deep, and Tidwell will catch it up against the wall in his own end zone. Brings it out to the 5, dash around, has a hole around the left side, and he breaks it out to the 20-yard line before he is brought down by a couple of Rattlesnake defenders. So great moves by Tidwell. Actually, it's going to be McGee on the stop for the Rattlesnakes. So 1st and 10 from just across the 20 on the 21-yard line. The Bandits now break the huddle. Trips to the right. Motion man is Martin as he goes around the left side of the field, and it's a pitch toss to Carter off around the right side. Cuts it up at the 22-yard line and breaks the tackle across the 25 down to the 20. Gain of 9 on the play for Tristan Carter. Great blocking by the offensive line. So 2nd down and 1. As the Bandits come out in this a slot left formation, and under pressure is Dillon, and Dillon gets away, has a 1st down and more across the 15 inside to the 12-yard line, and wide open in the end zone was Garrett Tidwell. That's why I was late in the call. I was watching Tidwell. I was expecting the ball to hit him in the arms, but Dillon was under heavy pressure and was able to escape the pocket for a Best Tex 1st down. So 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, as we have now blown the clock dead as the chain gang getting set up there on the wall. Clock ready for play now. As about trips to the right. Martin will be your motion man. You have Richie Martin, Garrett Tidwell, and Matt Washington, your 3 receivers. Carter in the backfield. A quick 3-step drop, fires for Washington off his hands and into the arms of the Rattlesnake defender. Intercepted at the 2. You can't put that one on Dillon. that one is off the hands of Washington and right into the arms of Raymond Little of the Rattlesnakes. So the Rattlesnakes will take over on downs, take over on the turnover, first down on their own 3-yard line. So this is where we saw the defense step up last week for the Rattlesnakes, the Bandits. Rattlesnakes now in a slot formation as McGee is the motion man, and a pass caught out to the 15-yard line, gets all the way up to midfield and across before he is ridden down by Tommy White. So 1st and 10 for the Rattlesnakes just on the other side of midfield. Now remember, James Lewis went down in the first quarter, an ankle injury, so Benny Shepard had to move over and play tackle. And Ahmad Howard stepping in for Shepard as the Rattlesnakes come out in the trips left formation. Clark is the motion man. It's going to be handoff up the middle to Phillip Howard, who rumbles ahead for a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5. Trying to see. They're finally going to mark the ball down now at the 21. They just get the ball marked down as the Rattlesnakes break the huddle. Trips to the left again. Anthony Clark's the motion man. They go from near side to far side of the field. 3-step drop for Randall. Fires, has it complete to Jerome McGee at the 15, and he is slammed down by Tommy White. Well after the whistle blew, Anthony Clark over talking to the official, wants a flag. He's not going to get it. Tommy White just playing through the play. Slings McGee down to the ground. But nonetheless, it's a first down for the Rattlesnakes. They're going to move the chains down to the 13-yard line. 1st and 10. Laredo. 9:30 and counting here in the third quarter. Rattlesnakes breaking the huddle. Slot formation. Motion man is going to be McGee. Quick one-step drop, looking as Randall. He has nowhere to go. He fires to the end zone and overshoots his intended receiver, Anthony Clark, out of bounds, and looked like Randy Sanders in on the catch there in the end zone. Randy Sanders, of course, the owner of the San Angelo Bandits, sitting down there in the west end zone. Pass perfect right to his chest, and he's able to pull it in. Of course, it's incomplete. 2nd down and 10 from the 13-yard line. Laredo, that slot right formation. Looks like Darnell Williams is going to be the motion man for the Rattlesnakes this time. He hits the line at full sprint. Quick drop and pass to Williams. Pass complete at the 5, and he lunges forward enough for the first down. So 1st and goal for the Rattlesnakes from the 3-yard line. Rattlesnakes looking for their second score of the third quarter. Bandits looking for a big defensive stop here. It's actually going to be spotted at the 2.5, right between the 2 and the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for the Rattlesnakes. Come out in slot left formation. Clark, the motion man, is going to be a quarterback keeper. Randall around the right side into the end zone for a touchdown for the Rattlesnakes. So the Rattlesnakes now extend their lead to 8, 40-32, with 7:38 left to play in the third quarter. And there is another Bandit down on the turf. Unable to see who it is. It is Shane Hudnall, kicker and jackback, and it looks like he might have just had the wind knocked out of him as he is up to his feet now. Helmet off on the turf. That's all it was, just his wind knocked out. He's already heading back over to the sidelines.
Big round of applause for our player down on the field, Northwest Texas Medical Associates
coming up a little limping off towards the sidelines as a few rattlesnakes come over and tap him on the head. Shane Hudnall, one of the toughest players I've ever known, actually was playing with a broken wrist earlier on in the season. Didn't tell anybody about it. Just kind of went in and still kept playing. So extra point from Erickson on the way. Splits the uprights and extends the lead to 9. 7:29 left to play. Our new score, Laredo 41, San Angelo 32. Hudnall, such a valuable player to the Bandits as he is a kicker. He is also the jackback, and he is early on in the season played wherever needed. And rumor has it, if needed to play quarterback, he could actually go in and do that as well. So Shane Hudnall, definitely an impact player here for San Angelo. So while we have a moment, go ahead and say thank you to one of our sponsors, Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. And if you're looking for a great deal on a new or used vehicle and service with a smile, head on down to Mitchell Buick GMC and see Guy Terrazas and Fabian Salazar. They can get you in the vehicle you deserve at the price you want. See Guy or Fabian at Mitchell Buick GMC. Se habla español. And by Dinah's Resale Boutique. For a large selection of women's attire, visit Dinah's Resale Boutique. Spring attire now welcome at Dinah's. Stop by 2421 College Hills or call Dinah at 325-223-2421 for more details. Back deep now, awaiting the kickoff for the Bandits, Garrett Tidwell and Tommy White. Tidwell reeled off a 25-yard, well, actually 35-yard return when it was all said and done, up to midfield as he caught the ball on the pads of the wall, right underneath the goalposts. Was able to get back out to midfield. Kick is high, end over end. This time it's going to be short and fielded at the 3-yard line by Tommy White. White's going to move back to the left, and he's tripped up at the 8-yard line, but stumbles forward to the 10. Darnell Williams able to go in there and take the feet out from underneath Tommy White. So 1st and 10 from the 10. The Bandits take over. As Greg Dillon now gets the play call from head coach Dixie Wooten. The Bandits will be in slot formation, slot left, and Tidwell is going to be your motion man. Tidwell all the way back inside his end zone. Now he's going to hit the line at full speed, 5-yard drop, and he is under heavy pressure looking to scramble. Out of the pocket, he has Garrett Tidwell wide open down the field, and it is caught at the 15 and into the walls as Tidwell off the wall. He loses the football. Tidwell loses the ball, and the Rattlesnakes say they have it, and they do. Now, Tidwell was pushed right into the wall, and Tidwell's in the face of the back judge, Jesse Mendoza. And you can hear this crowd. Now big Tavares Jeffries over arguing with the official, saying that he was knocked into the wall. And you hear the crowd. That should have been down by contact, knocked into the wall. The Bandits not able to get the call there. So it will be a turnover. First down. And the Bandits are now, confusion's going on the field. Timeout. Bail Bonds timeout. Angelo Bail Bonds timeout called by head coach Dixie Wooten. So the defense are trying to collect them thoughts. 6:35 left to go. Down by 9 are the Bandits. Now Coach Wooten talking to the head official and the head linesman. Wants to know what happened. Jesse Mendoza, the one who made the call, the back judge, actually is the one that needs to be in on this meeting so Coach Wooten could get the explanation. I have a feeling the only thing he's getting right now is the rules and how they stand on the field. Now, the rules is if you're hit into the wall, you are supposed to be considered down. Wooten now walking away from the officials, and the ball is blown ready for play. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Bandits come out, or Rattlesnakes, slot left formation as Randall, 3-step drop, fires over the middle for Anthony Clark. Completed at the 22-yard line. 1st down, Laredo. Just over the hands of Ahmad Howard. Howard had dropped back into coverage, and the ball was floated just right over his head into the arms of Clark. The Rattlesnakes in the Bandit territory now. The 6-minute mark. Still leading by 9, 41-32. So they come out in the slot right formation. McGee is the motion man. Fakes the handoff, now puts it over a quick pass to Clark. Clark catches it at the 22. Goes up to the 15. Now he reverses field at the 10, and he lowers his shoulder and runs over the San Angelo defender, Rick Ball, and powers over Ball at the 5 and down to the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for the Rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes in the red zone for the 3rd time here in the second half. So 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Rattlesnakes, the slot formation. Williams, the motion man, he's on a quick out route. Pass to the end zone for Williams. Williams looked like he was losing as he went down to the ground, but they're going to go ahead and call it a touchdown. Williams was able to hold on and clutch the ball to the side of his leg. Just like that, the Rattlesnakes are up by 15, 47-32. With 4:53 left to play here in the 3rd quarter. Two-possession game is nothing in the Lone Star Football League, as we've seen our fair share of 1- and 2-play drives tonight as the extra point is on the way and through the uprights. So a 16-point lead, 48-32. 4:36 left to play in the 3rd quarter. So the Rattlesnakes able to capitalize on 2 San Angelo Bandit turnovers. 1 an interception off the hands of Washington, straight up into the air, intercepted by the Rattlesnakes, and another one where Garrett Tidwell caught the pass deep in Rattlesnake territory, was banged into the wall. And I'm actually getting clarification on the ruling. If a player is banged into the wall and bounced off the wall, it's kind of a weird, foggy rule, but if he is banged in to the wall, he has a chance to bounce off the wall and come back into play and get yardage down the field. But if he is pushed into the wall and held there by the defender, then he is called a dead ball. So Tidwell was banged into the wall and bounced off and was back into the field to play. And that's when the ball was stripped out of his hands, and the Rattlesnakes were able to jump on it. So a 16-point deficit. The Bandits will take over. Awaiting the kickoff here from the Rattlesnakes. And we'll see when the Bandits break the huddle who will be back deep this time. Looks like it's going to be Tidwell and White. Back deep for the Bandits. Rattlesnakes will tee the ball up on the far right college hash on the goal line. Blake Erickson doing the kicking duties tonight for the Rattlesnakes. High end over end kick going deep as Tidwell catches the ball up against the wall, and he has some running room out around the 10 out to the 15 before he is brought down by Jerome McGee. At the 15-yard line, actually going to move him up to the 16. 1st and 10. Bandits take over at the 16-yard line. 4:27 left in the third quarter. Ball blown, ready for play. And the Bandits break the huddle, come out in that trips right formation. With Tidwell, Martin, and Washington. Washington, your motion man, going from near side all the way to far side of the field. It's a toss sweep to Carter. Carter looking to get around the corner. And he is pushed into the walls and corralled up against the walls to see where they give him a gain of 5. So 2nd down and 5 now for the Bandits from the 21-yard line. Carter sure does like to have Tavares Jeffries back in the lineup, anchoring the right side of that line. Last week without him, Carter was unable to hardly get any positive yardage, and so far tonight, all of his plays have been positive yardage, has yet to been thrown for a loss. Trips to the right is the new formation. Washington, the motion man, all the way around to the far side of the field. It's going to be a quick pitch and catch to Garrett Tidwell. Tidwell catches the ball at the 25, then dives forward to the 23 for a 1st down. It's the best Tech's 1st down. Will move the chains. As Dillon and Tidwell hiccup for the 3rd time tonight. Bandits going to try that trips right formation again. Be trips to the weak side of the field. Wash is your motion man as he goes from near to far side of the field. Quick 3-step drop. Looking over the middle has Martin open, but he fits back down underneath to Tristan Carter. Caught at the 15, makes some moves at the 10 around 2 defenders into the end zone. Touchdown Bandits, Tristan Carter. Great catch at the 15 and run after the catch, making 3 defenders miss into the end zone. And Michael Bragg, who is the defensive back for the Rattlesnakes, is all over his teammates, and he is upset. The Bandits cut the lead to 10. And Hudnall's going to remain on the sidelines as they're going to go for 2. And that might have something to do with why he was down earlier. He might have been a little more than what we thought. Might have been more than just his wind knocked out. We hope to get a report here shortly. So the Bandits will go for 2. Come out in the slot formation, slot to the left. And it's going to be a quarterback keeper as Dillon is looking for the end zone. He's going to come up about a yard short on the quarterback keeper around the right side. Nowhere to go. So the 2-point conversion is no good. So with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the third quarter, our new score, Laredo Rattlesnakes 48, your San Angelo Bandits 38. This is almost exactly where we were at this point in the ball game last week. Hopefully this week everything will end differently. The defense really needing to step up on this possession right here and slow down the Rattlesnakes offense to help start the fourth quarter with some positive momentum. And finally, the Bandits put together their first scoring drive of the second half. Ended with a 30-yard pitch and catch from Dillon to Tristan Carter. Carter gets in the end zone for the first time on the night, this time on the receiving end. And there is something wrong with Hudnall because Garrett Tidwell has now teed the ball up. And he kicks a line drive kick fielded by Anthony Clark at the goal line. Clark now across the 15, runs into his own player at the 16, but bounces it off to the right side and is brought down, drugged down from behind by Ahmad Howard at about the 24 of the Bandits. So that's where the Rattlesnakes will start. 1st and 10 from the Bandits, 24. Rattlesnakes, 10-point lead here. Just under 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Bandits looking to get a defensive stop here. Rattlesnakes break the huddle. Slot left formation. Williams is going to be the motion man. 5-step drop under heavy pressure from Benny Shepard. He hits his dump-off man, which is the big running back. The big man, the Phillip Harris, catches the ball at about the 22-yard line and is hit immediately by about 4 San Angelo defenders, and they will mark it at the 22, actually 21-yard line. So they're going to give him a gain of 2. Maybe 3. Now they're going to move it up a little bit more, so that's a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7. Rattlesnakes slot right. Williams, the motion man, once again going from the far to the near side of the field, near side being the strong side of the field. 3-step drop, looking over the middle, nothing there, so he fires to a safety release McGee, and McGee is hammered, lowering the boom on McGee. It's the defensive back for the Bandits, Rodney Anthony. Wow, just lowered his shoulder, and McGee pops up off the turf, though. So 3rd and 2 from the 11-yard line. Game clock down to under 10 seconds now. See if the Rattlesnakes will get a play off. Motion man is going to be McGee. He does get the snap off. He fires over to McGee on the right side of the field. The pass is caught at the 10, and McGee slammed down to the turf once again, this time by Angelo Brown. But it is enough for the first down, and that is the end of the third quarter. So at the end of 3, our score, Laredo Rattlesnakes 48, your San Angelo Bandits 38. We had the KIDY Fox San Angelo media timeout. The third quarter is not the way you wanted it to go if you were San Angelo. San Angelo really trying to get things rolling here in the third. 2 costly penalties seem to be the key. But I'm pretty confident that they utilize what they have on the offensive end, cut down on the penalties and turnovers, and everything should be A-okay. I mean, that's the only difference. They came into the second half with a 4-point lead, give up 14 points really quick, now down by 10. So if you do the math there, those 2 penalties, very, very costly. We do have 1 more quarter left to play. 15 minutes are the quarters here in the Lone Star Football League. So we're going to start off the fourth quarter, 1st and goal for the Rattlesnakes. The Bandits trying to stop the Rattlesnakes from scoring. The Rattlesnakes in the red zone once again. Rattlesnakes coming into tonight's game, the number 1 team in the Lone Star Football League. The Bandits searching for their 2nd win of the season. And a big win it would be. Put them right back to tie for 4th place for that 4th playoff spot. Rattlesnakes in the slot formation. Anthony's going to be the motion man as they hand off to Phillip Harris, who rumbles up the middle 4 yards for the Rattlesnake touchdown. Harris was met by two different San Angelo linemen. He just lowers his shoulders and powers his way into the end zone. That brings up Blake Erickson now on to attempt the extra point. So it's a kick down, or the hold down, the kick is up, and it's good. So our new score here at Foster Communications Coliseum, Laredo Rattlesnakes 55 and the San Angelo Bandits 38. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors. Thank Bug Express, the professionals in pest control. We deliver results. And by PSI Wireline for quality wireline service in the San Angelo area you can depend on. Call PSI Wireline. They are fast, dependable, and provide top-notch quality work. For more information, call 325-486-9900 or visit them online at psiwireline.com. The Bandits are set now to receive the kickoff back deep. Garrett Tidwell and Tommy White. As Erickson will set the ball now on the right college hash on his goal line. High end over end kick. Looks like it's going to be fielded by Tidwell 1 yard deep in his end zone. He makes one man's miss down the right sideline. He breaks the tackle at the 15, cuts back down the field on the right, and he's at the 20, 25, across the midfield, slung down inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line. So Tidwell making magic happen here on the field with that reversing the field, starting off to his right, come back to his left. Found the alley, got all the way down to the 18-yard line. So a short field for Dillon and the Bandits to work with. 1st and 10 from the 18 of the Rattlesnakes. Bandits going in that trips right formation with Martin, Tidwell, and Washington. And the Rattlesnakes are going to call their first timeout of the second half. That coming at the 13:44 mark, the Angelo Bell Bonds timeout. Quick recap to where we are right now. The Laredo Rattlesnakes start off the game on a 15-yard touchdown pass from Brian Randall to Anthony Clark. Get things started for the Rattlesnake, but the Bandits respond quickly and respond fast. A Garrett Tidwell 1 yard run. The Bandits continue to score and went into the halftime with a 32-28 4-point lead. Now find themselves down by 17 here in the fourth quarter. Back to play, pitch toss to Carter around right side looking for somewhere to go, has nowhere to go, and is brought down for a huge loss on the play. Looks like it's going to be about a loss of 5. It is going to be a loss of 5, so 2nd down and 15 now for the Bandits, all the way back to their own 20 or to the 22 of the Rattlesnakes. Bandits break the huddle and trips left. Martin will be the motion man this time. Quick 3-step drop, fires over the middle, has it complete to Washington. Washington trying to make some men miss, but it's wrapped up at about the 13-yard line. So a gain of 12. 3rd down and a long 3 for the Bandits. Ball at the 11. Slot formation. Tidwell is the motion man. Slot to the right. Dillon under pressure. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket, looking for a place to run. He dives ahead for a gain of 2. So 4th down from the 9-yard line, and with Hudnall not seeing any action, we're going to go ahead and probably see the Bandits go for it. And I believe it is 4-down territory time with just over 12 minutes left to play in the ball game. Dillon now under center, trips to the right. Martin, your motion man. Quick pass out to Washington. He has the first down at 5. He's off the boards and into the end zone. And now they call him down at the 3-yard line. So it's the Best Tech's first down, first and goal for the Bandits. 8-yard hookup from Dillon to Washington. As they now come out in a trips left formation. Tidwell is the motion man. Pitch to Tristan Carter. Carter looking for room on the left side, and he is knocked into the boards. I think he will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So second and goal from the 3. Going to be a loss of half a yard, they're going to say. So we're going to move the stick back a little bit. So second and 3 now for the Bandits. Dillon getting the play call from head coach Dixie Wooten. The Bandits break the huddle. Trips to the right. Motion man is going to be Matthew Washington. It's going to be a quarterback keeper, and looks like Dillon loses his footing out around the goal line as he's diving for the end zone. Feet slip out from underneath him, so it's going to be third and goal from the 1. He had a big push that he needed up front, and he looks like he had found the hole, but when he turned upfield to get across the goal line, both feet came out from underneath him, and down to his knees he went. So here we go, third and goal from the 1. Trips to the right. Martin is your motion man. It'll be same play, design, quarterback keeper around left side, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Bandits. 10:16 left to go in the game. The Staybridge Suites touchdown. 1-yard run. Greg Dillon around left side. Bandits looking now to cut the deficit to 9, as they're going to have to go to our 2 here with Hudnall out. And now they want to move the ball over to the left side of the hash. They're going to reset the play clock now, as they had already started the play clock. So they're resetting the play clock. And they're going to move the ball over to the left side of the field. Coach Davis threw his arms up. Well, what's going on here? Veteran move by Coach Wooten, knew he was running out of time. Goes over to the ref and says, hey, can you re-spot the ball for us? And he does. That gets some extra time. Reset the play clock. Now they break the huddle with 10 seconds on the play clock. Trips to the right. Shotgun formation on this 2-point conversion. Martin, the motion man, all the time in the world, fires over the middle, caught by Tidwell for 2. So with 9:45 left to go in the ball game, 9 is the deficit for the Bandits. 55 for the Rattlesnakes, 46 for the Bandits. The 2-point conversion is good. The 1-yard run by Greg Dillon, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the night. He has 2 through the year, 5 total touchdowns. Garrett Tidwell hauls in the 2-point conversion. And we're hoping that everything is okay with Shane Hudnall. And that's a big, big loss for the special teams, for the defense, and for the offense when needed. Shane has been pretty much the rock, and Coach was talking about him earlier, about how much of a, well, I'm trying to find the right words here, but inspiration, I guess it would be, for the rest of the team, as the team really does feed off of his leadership and his heart and the way he goes about everything, the way he carries himself, the way he plays, the way he practices. Positive energy is easy to catch on to. So he really raises the spirits of the guys off and on the field. and gives them something to look forward to when they're coming to practice. I know he's a loose guy, easy fun to joke around with, hang out with down there on the field. So we hope everything's okay for him as Tidwell will tee the ball up again. See if it's going to be another line drive kick. And it is straight into the ground, and it bounces all the way back and off the face mask of Jackson, who was met by Angelo Brown at the 15-yard line, but he bounces off Brown and gets up to the 18. So 1st and 10 from the 18. The Bandits now need that San Angelo Security defensive stand. Down by 9, 8:35, or 9:35 rather, left to play in the ball game, and the clock has started to run. Laredo breaks the huddle. Slot formation, slot left. Motion man is Williams, and a quick pitch and catch to Anthony Clark. And he is wrapped up by Angelo Brown after a gain of 5 yards right there on the near side wall, which is the White's right side wall. 2nd and 5. The Bandits trying to keep the Rattlesnakes out of the end zone on this drive. There's still plenty of time left to go in the ball game, 8:40 and counting. Slot formation from the Rattlesnakes is a quick toss out to big receiver number 6, who loses the football. It is stripped out from behind and picked up by the Bandits, and let's see what the call is on the field. Tommy White comes up with the ball, and it is Bandits football. That's exactly what the San Angelo Bandits needed. DeMarcus Jenkins catches the ball on a quick pass from Randall and is stripped. I didn't see who got in and caused the fumble, but I did see Tommy White came up with it above his head. 1st and 10 Bandits from their own 19-yard line. That is the break the Bandits needed with 8:20 left to play here in the ballgame. 9-point deficit, 55-46, and Dillon just now getting on the field with his helmet still in the huddle. Does not have his helmet on yet. He's having trouble with his helmet. They might have to take a timeout here. And they do. It's the 2nd timeout. Don't know what was going on with the equipment. Looks like a cheek pad or something might have came out. Oh, man, just when the Bandits get the break they need, have the momentum, have the Rattlesnakes back up against the wall, then something like this, the equipment failing, it's got to be frustrating for head coach Dixie Wooten. As now Dillon does have the helmet back on his head. So 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Bandits being the trips left formation. Martin is the motion man. Shotgun formation. He pump fake, looking over the middle, under pressure. He trips over his own feet at the 10-yard line and goes down. Actually, they'll mark him at the 9, so loss of 10. 2nd and 20 from his own 9-yard line. As Dillon just trips over his own feet and goes flat on his back. 7:34 and counting now left in the ball game. Trips to the left. Martin, motion man once again, as a quick pitch and catch out to Tidwell. Tidwell makes one man miss down the right wall, up across the 15, down to the 20. Still carrying 3 defenders with him. He gets out to about the 21-yard line. They're going to blow the play dead. So he gets the penalty or the sack yardage back, and then some. 3rd down and 8. Now for the Bandits from the 21-yard line. Clock now under 6:40. Now in at quarterback, Brian Nichols, as he fumbles the football again. And that was the trouble over and over and over last week. 6 fumbles, 5 lost, most of them from center quarterback exchange. And the first one out, fumbled. So 4th down now and 14. Nichols in. Going to be heading the shotgun formation. It's the snap back. Nichols fires over the middle and is going to be a pass interference as, excuse me, the ball was intended for Garrett Tidwell. The defender for the Rattlesnakes got there way early. The flag comes in from the back judge, Jesse Mendoza. That's going to be an automatic first down. So Michael Nichols has came in. I don't know if it had something to do with if Greg Dillon hurt himself when on the sack or if it has something to do with the helmet or what's going on. But Nichols in at quarterback right now. 1st and 10 from the 24. And they're going to restart the play clock. That's what the stoppage and play was, but we have a slot formation, slot to the right. Martin, the motion man. Here's the snap. Nichols looking over the middle and throws it halfway between Martin and Tidwell, so the pass will fall incomplete. 2nd down and 10. From the 24-yard line. Bandits break the huddle, slot formation to the right. Martin's going to be the motion man again. Nichols back in the pocket, floats it up for nobody in the end zone, but I think that nobody is because Richie Martin was held up against the wall. Looks like the guilty party is going to be Raymond Little. We'll see what happens here as the Spencer Plumbing penalty flag is on the play. Coach Brian Davis is upset, saying it was not catchable. Let's hear from head referee Terrell Pierce. It is going to be illegal contact on the defense. Automatic first down, so that moves the ball inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. .450 and counting left to go in the ball game. Bandits down by 9. Slot right. Martin is your motion man. Nichols fires for Washington over the head and out of bounds. So 2nd and 10 now for the Bandits from the 19-yard line. Nichols and the Bandits break the huddle with 4:20 left to play in the ball game. Slot formation, shotgun formation. Looks like the motion man is going to be Richie Martin once again, going all the way back to the 21 of the Bandits. Nichols fires pass intended for Tidwell off the mark. Tidwell has to reach behind him. Incomplete. So 3rd down and 10 now for the Bandits. Nichols getting the play from head coach Dixie Wooten. Shotgun formation. Slot right. Tidwell, your motion man, looks over the middle for Tidwell and way up over the head and out of the reach of Tidwell. Tidwell jumped as high as he could, trying to bring that one in. So it'll be 4th down. You have to go for it. 3:16 and counting left to play in the ball game, and Hudnall out with an injury. You have no choice but to go for it. Slot formation. Shotgun. Martin's going to be the motion man. And we have a false start going to be on either Martin or Washington, as both were across the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped. So we'll make it up 5. 4th and 15 from the 24-yard line. It's going to be the same slot right formation. Motion man is going to be Richie Martin once again. Here's the snap. Nichols under pressure, eludes one tackler, looking downfield, and he is hit from behind as he throws the ball up into the stands. So the Rattlesnakes will take over on downs. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. It looks like the Rattlesnakes have somebody down in the end zone, somebody grabbing an ankle. Can't see the number. It looks like it could be Raymond Little. 6 foot, 190 defensive back out of Sacramento City College. And it looks to be an ankle, as the training staff for both the Bandits and the Rattlesnakes out there. Now they help Raymond Little up to his feet, and he's going to limp off down the sidelines. So with the pause in the action, time to thank a couple of our sponsors. I'll thank PSI Wireline, quality wireline service in the San Angelo area you can depend on. Call PSI 325-486-9900 or visit them at psionwireline.com. So the Rattlesnakes take over 1st and 10 on downs. Slot to the left, Williams, the motion man, as Randall fires for Williams, and it's overthrown out of the back of the end zone, and Williams and Tommy White both collide into the back wall. They're in that east end zone. 2nd and 10, 154 and counting. So another big defensive turnover needed right here for the Bandits. They want any chance to win this ball game. Second and 10 from the 24 for the Rattlesnakes. 1:30 and counting. 16 seconds left on the play clock as they come out in the trips right formation. Anthony Clark, your motion man, as it's a hitch and go by Anthony Clark, who gets wide open in the left flat. Pass fired by Randall, caught, touchdown Rattlesnakes. That just might be the nail in the coffin for the Bandits. With 1:09 left to play, your new score is 61-46 in favor of the Laredo Rattlesnakes. Lake Erickson now on to attempt the extra point. And they're not going to get the extra point off because the clock was running down to the 1-minute warning. So we're here at the 1-minute warning. We'd like to thank Dinah's Resale Boutique for being one of our sponsors. For a large selection of women's attire, visit Dinah's Resale Boutique. Spring attire now welcome at Dinah's. Stop by 2421 College Hills or call Dinah at 325-223-2421 for more details. And if you're looking for a great deal on a new or used vehicle and service with a smile, head on down to Mitchell Buick GMC and see Guy Terrazas and Fabian Salazar. They can get you in the vehicle you deserve at the price you want. See Guy or Fabian at Mitchell Buick GMC. Se habla español. And by Bug Express. Call the professionals in pest control. Call Bug Express. We deliver results. So the Bandits will drop their third in a row after winning their first one under head coach Dixie Wooten back on April 13th. And it's just been a thing of injuries and penalties and having a different team on the field every week. I mean, it's just kind of hard to get it all together with those three factors week in and week out. The extra point from Erickson is on the way. It's up off the upright. No good as it bounces into the seats. Lucky fan gets a souvenir. So our score will stay 61-46 here at the 1 minute warning. So the Bandits started out, saw some bright spots in the offense under new quarterback Greg Dillon. Did a lot of work on his feet. A lot of work through the air, and things started out good for the Bandits, and just second half couldn't exactly get it together. 2 key turnovers in the third quarter, I believe, was the difference in the ball game here. 2 turnovers and 14 points off those 2 turnovers for the Rattlesnakes. And the Bandits were really just not ever able to recover after that. Back deep now for the Bandits, Tristan Carter and Tommy White. As Erickson will tee the ball up, middle of the field on his goal line. It is a squib kick, bounced and taken by White at the 5-yard line. White has blockers in front of him on the left side up to 15, up to the 20, across the 20 to the 21 before he's finally brought down. So the Bandits will take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. They will mark them. 55 seconds left to play in the ball game. So it looks like Tristan Carter, or Garrett Tidwell, in at quarterback. So Tidwell gets the snap. Looking down the field, throws it deep, has a receiver. Richie Martin is caught at the wall. Touchdown, Bandits. 1 play, 1 catch. Tidwell to Richie Martin, touchdown in the back of the end zone. And this one might not be over yet, folks. They can make it. The lead is now 9. So they can make this a 7-point game of 48 seconds. And remember, last week, they were able to get an onside kick there in New Mexico. So hold everything. Don't go anywhere. 2-point conversion on the way. Reggie Martin, looks like Tommy White and Matt Washington, and now the Bandits cannot get set up on the 2-point conversion, so it's an Angelo Bell-Bonds timeout. Now, there is a backstory to this, to Garrett Tidwell. Garrett Tidwell, I don't know if you know this or not, but whenever he was recruited by Angelo State, he was actually recruited 6 years ago by the Angelo State Rams as a quarterback. And I found this out last week whenever we were in New Mexico, and Tidwell said, I want to play quarterback whenever they were having a lot of troubles with the fumbles and everything. And I asked him after the game, I was like, just kind of joking with him, what do you know about quarterback? And he told me the story about how he ended up in San Angelo in his high school career and all that good stuff. So comes in 1 play, 1 pass, and it's a touchdown. Now on the 2-point conversion is direct snap to Tidwell, and Tidwell fakes to the right, goes left. The 2-point conversion is good, so with 48 seconds left to play, it's a 7-point ball game, 61-54, and a lot of people have left the stadium, and I think they may have prematurely left, as there's the fans who are remaining are on their feet. So a 7-point ball game, 48 seconds left to go. onside kick you've got to know is on the way. And, of course, who else but Garrett Tidwell going to kick that onsider? Has to be Garrett Tidwell to kick it. He's been doing the kicking duty so far. Hudnall's out. So it has to be Garrett Tidwell, unless there's somebody else who specializes in just onside kicks. So you know there was an extra long huddle there for the Rattlesnakes. They are, you would think they would have their hands team up on the front line, but I see a bunch of big linemen making their way up, and it will be Tidwell. He's going to tee it up on the middle of the field. The middle of the field is wide open, and that's how they recovered that onside kick last time, was they kicked it right up the middle. And there it is. It's an onside right up the middle, but it is corralled by Raymond Little at the 15-yard line. Now I think that's probably going to do it for the Rattlesnake, or for the Bandits. But they do have to gain a play with positive yardage. You can't take a kneel down in the Lone Star Football League. You have to attempt to make forward progress. So that means either a run or a pass is coming. So a turnover is needed desperately for the Bandits right here, and they're going to go the big backfield set. Phillip Harris, the big man in the back, you can guarantee he's probably going to get it. And it's going to be an illegal offense, it looks like. See what the flag, you have the Spencer Plumbing flag on the play. See what the call is. And it is an illegal formation against the offense. So it's 1st and 15 from the 20. Big to Phillip Harris in the backfield. The motion man is Anthony, and it's going to be a quarterback keeper right up the middle as Randall just takes it and falls forward. 2nd down. Looks like it's going to be 2nd down and 14 after it's all said and done. As the Rattlesnakes are just going to let the play clock wind down. 4-second difference, so that's it. Actually, the play clock actually ran off a couple more seconds than it should have. Let's let the Spencer Plumbing penalty flag on the floor, on the ground. There's some confusion now with the officials down on the field. So let's see what happens here. Is it delay a game or is it a timeout? Now they're all huddled up. They're confirming with back judge Jesse Mendoza. And reset the clock to 5 seconds. This is going to be an Angelo Belbon's timeout by the Rattlesnakes with 5 seconds left. All that Brian Randall has to do is take the snap and fall over. So we do have a timeout on the field. It is by Laredo. 61-54 our score. 5 seconds left to play in the ball game. See what the defensive game plan is here. We're back to action now. The Rattlesnakes break the huddle. And now blow the clock, ready for play. Slot formation to the right. Motion man is going to be McGee. Here's the snap. It looks like he's going to drop back to pass. He just throws it up and into the seats. And that's going to do it. Smart play there by Randall, not avoiding avoiding any turnover possibility. Just takes 3 steps back and chunks it as hard and as far as he can into the end zone seats. So your final score here tonight, San Angelo Bandits drop another one, the third in a row to Laredo Rattlesnakes, 61-54. We'll be right back with your final game stats right here on KickCFM.com. Back here for a final time from Foster Communications Coliseum, where your San Angelo Bandits fall tonight, 61-54 at the hands of the Laredo Rattlesnakes. Now here's some final stats for you. Greg Dillon, 14 rushes, 49 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. He was also 13-17, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 reception. Now receiving, Matt Washington, 5 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. Richie Martin, 4 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tristan Carter also had 1 reception and 1 touchdown on the night. Garrett Tidwell had 5 kickoff returns for 97 yards. And he also had a touchdown pass and a rushing pass tonight. One of the bright spots for the Bandits offense. And again, one of the big killer for the Bandits tonight was turnovers. 2 turnovers there in the third quarter that they never really recovered from, and that was the difference maker for the Bandits. They were up by 4, and those 2 turnovers was a 14-point swing or push for the Rattlesnakes. 10-point swing. The Bandits fall by 7. So there's a lot of people we'd like to thank. We'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight: PSI Wireline, Bug Express, also Dinah's Resale Boutique. And Guy Terrasses and Fabian Salazar. I'd like to thank the Lone Star Football League, Darlene Jones, the commissioner, Randy Sanders, the owner of the San Angelo Bandits, Bill Farmer, the general manager, and you, the fans, who make this all possible. Thank you for tuning in on the B2 Network. Thank you for tuning in on KixieFM.com, KKSA-AM.com, and KWFRFM.com. The Bandits will be off next week, but will travel to Amarillo on May 18th to face the Venom in Amarillo. Kickoff will be at 7:05. We will start our broadcast at 6:55 that evening. Until then, good night from San Angelo.